What is up guys, it's your boy Soul. I'm here, back with another Classic WoW video for the fresh Classic WoW servers, and today we're talking about the population of these fresh anniversary servers, and talking about whether or not this population means that the fresh servers are in a bad state or a good state. We will try to look at this objectively, but also think about some subjective thought about this, and I'll be talking about why, or a couple of reasons why, the population might be where it currently is. So before that, let me know down in the comments down below, do you think this anniversary server has a lot of people, or has the population been less than you were expecting? Now, I also made a video very recently talking about the economical state of these anniversary servers, talking about the price of Black Lotus, for example, which is incredibly expensive on most servers, especially in the PvP servers. Like, Black Lotus right now are up to about 200 gold on the North American PvP server, so like, if you're raiding, flasks are expensive, and if you're in a top guild as well, or even just like a over average guild, you're pretty much expected to flask when you're raiding, in which case you're spending hundreds of gold every single week. And if you're struggling to make gold, I do have a gold making guide for that purpose, showing you how to make gold pretty much as any class. You can do this both inside dungeons, you can do it solo, in a group, a lot of different ways to make gold in Classic WoW, and everything is covered in this guide right here, which you can check out through the link down below in the video description or the pinned comment. Whether it's your first time playing Classic WoW this time around, if you played every single fresh, or whether you have 1,000 gold at the moment, 5,000 gold, or maybe you just have 100 gold as well, no matter where your current standpoint is, the aim for the guide is to be helpful to absolutely everyone. And when you buy the guide, you also get early access to gold making videos. So for example, right now I have made a video talking about phase 3 investments. So if you have some gold laying around right now, and you want to spend that gold to hopefully get more gold back in phase 3, well, that video will be available in early access to anyone that has that guide. And I'm also working on one for phase 4, phase 5, and phase 6. So you always know where to place your gold and when to sell those items as well. And once again, those videos will be available in early access to people that have that gold guide. Either way, let's talk about the population of the anniversary servers, and is it good or bad? Now, to start this conversation, we can start where everyone starts when it comes to talking about population in Classic WoW, and that is ironforge.pro. Over here, you will have every single person that has logged their raids over the last couple of weeks, or even like dating back to the start of the server. You can see how the population has grown week by week. So here, right now, you can see the current numbers for the anniversary servers this current week, and which servers have what numbers. You can see, for example, Spine Shatter being number 1 with 28.5k, you then have Night Slayer US with 19k, Thunderstrike EU with 11.6, Dream Scythe US with 10.6, and then we have Maladath, Doomhowl, Soulseeker. So you can see all of the numbers, and the numbers on both the Alliance side and the Horde side as well. In addition to that, you have Season of Discovery, for example. If you want to make a direct comparison, you have the numbers for that right here as well. So just talking about the total number here, we have 57.5k in Season of Discovery, and we have 73.6k in Anniversary. Going over to Cataclysm, for example, we have 123k, and in Classic Era we have 11.1. Going back to Anniversary, we can even further inspect this by clicking right here. Now, when you click that, you will see a week-by-week comparison and how much the raiding scene has grown since week 1. So week 1, we for example had 20,000 or 20.2, week 2 we had 26.1, week 3 we had 36, and then the next week, week 4, we had 47.7. Arguably, I think this was the biggest growth week by week from week 3 into week 4, and then in week 5 we had 52.9, then we have 61.8, 68.3, and now we have 73.6. It seems like we are growing with about 5 or 6k every single week in the last 2 weeks here. So by these numbers, we should expect to see about 80,000 or close to 80,000 in the next week as well. And now we can compare the number we see right here, 73.6. This is week number 8 on the anniversary servers, and we can compare this to how Classic WoW was back in 2019. So for that we can go to the Classic WoW Armory, and over here you will see a long, like this is pretty much Classic WoW, then TBC, then we had Wrath, and then we have Cataclysm as well. And you can pretty much see roughly wherever everything happens, so you can see the spikes, you can see when things went down, and for example here, this right here, 489, that was the peak of Vanilla WoW. Now, if we go to week number 8, that is this one right here, which had 213,000, pretty much exactly 3 times the number that we currently have, a little bit less I believe, but let's just say 3 times more. That means that we are currently at 33% of the number we had in 2019. So let me ask you this, is that good or is it bad? We currently have 1/3 of the population we had in 2019. I personally think that is absolutely very good numbers, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Reason number 1 is that when Classic WoW came out in 2019, it was the first time we had something called Classic WoW. We have had private servers in the past, like Nostalrius and such, but Classic WoW was a brand new thing. It was the first time ever in history that Blizzard acknowledged Vanilla WoW over again since 2004. People have been waiting for 15 years for this, and let's just take a look at what we have had past since then. After Classic WoW, we have had Season of Mastery, we have had Season of Discovery, we had official hardcore servers launching last year, like 2023, so like 1.5 years ago. We basically have had 3 freshes, 3 fresh servers, or 3 fresh like time periods, organized by Blizzard themselves. Season of Mastery, Season of Discovery, and fresh hardcore servers, and now we have Anniversary. It is basically the 4th time we are replaying Classic WoW, and we have 33% of the player base we had back in 2019, when everyone, their mother, their dad, their house pets, literally everyone was playing Classic WoW. I was working at the gym at this time, and I had people coming up to me that I didn't even know they played WoW, and they didn't, but they specifically joined for Classic WoW, even though they had never played WoW before. Classic WoW was their first time ever even trying out WoW. In addition to that, we have one rule set that actually puts off a lot of people from playing Anniversary servers, and it makes these numbers right here way lower than they probably should be, and that is the fact that back in 2019 we had something called a GDKP, Gold Dragon Kill Point or something like that, where basically you raid, and instead of rolling for loot, you pay or bid in gold. So let's just say a legendary drop, you could bid at 10,000 gold, to get that binding, for example, or like some people paid 100,000 gold for Gressil in Naxxramas. GDKPs became absolutely huge back then, it's still been huge, and even in Cataclysm now, people are still doing GDKPs. It's gotten to the point where GDKPs is basically the standard way to raid in Classic WoW, it feels like, and on the Anniversary servers we simply don't have that, which means anyone who loves that system, they simply don't play Anniversary right now, because they can't, they can't do GDKPs, and if the only thing they enjoy is doing GDKPs, well, once again, they can't. And going back to what I talked about early in the video, raiding right now is expensive, so once you have your full abyss, for example, if you have your full abyss and you have gotten the best parts you can, well, what is your incentive to raid? When GDKPs were out, especially, like, at least you were incentivized to raid every single week, and you were even further incentivized to help other people gear up, because they would pay you. So if you're full best in slot, you can join a raid, parse, do good DPS, and you can still get gold at the end. Even if you don't get loot, you can get 500 gold, 5,000 gold, instead of having to spend gold to raid. You basically get that gold back, and you can fund your raiding through raiding. Now, I'm just gonna say I've never been a huge fan of GDKPs myself, but, and I will say this, I understand objectively that if we had the GDKPs on the Anniversary servers, these raiding numbers would be higher, but I believe that the fact that we don't have GDKPs means that the raiding community we currently have is a better and possibly healthier raiding community. There's less GDKP spam in trade chat all the time, it's more about finding guilds now and having a steady group to raid with, which to me, that's great. It enforces the whole MMO aspect of making friends, finding a guild, and having that steady raid group. And people can still pug, people still do pug, it is just not everyone is spamming GDKPs 24/7. But once again, like, I've never been a fan of GDKPs, but I do understand that if we had GDKPs, these numbers simply would be higher, and that's pretty much objectively true. So not having GDKPs is suppressive on these raid numbers and has a negative impact, but like the raiding economy or the raiding is better, but the numbers are lower. And one more thing that is heavily affecting these raid numbers that people are not talking enough about, or simply just not talking enough about and putting enough emphasis on, is OnlyFans, and the fact that we have fresh hardcore servers on these anniversary servers as well. We have Soulseeker on EU, I think, and Doomhowl or something on North America, right? And these hardcore servers, well, when you're playing hardcore, you only have one life. It simply makes sense. There's way less people raiding there, and there's way more people leveling in the open world, but those people that are leveling, they are not counted on these numbers. So I kind of want to talk about this for a second, because if we go back to the overall Ironforge.pro population here, we can take a look at the numbers for example, Not Season of Discovery Anniversary. Go down to Soulseeker, you will see 861 people are currently being logged from Soulseeker. So looking at these stats right now, it looks like Soulseeker only has 800 people, and it looks like Doomhowl only has 1,000 people, right? But then you can go to a different website that actually tracks the population on these hardcore servers, and if I just pull this one a little bit more this way, we can see how many people were last week. So for example, here we have Doomhowl in North America. There's 16,000 people here on the 27th of January. So here we had 15,000 people, here we have 16,000 people that are actively playing every single week. You also have the daily characters down here as well, that is growing all the time. You can see here the amount of people that are playing daily every single day. So weekly and then daily. Here we have 16,000 people on Doomhowl, and once again, going back here for Doomhowl, we have way less people, like 1,000 people. When in reality we have 16,000. So if Doomhowl has 16,000 people, not 1,000, you can add 15,000 to this number, which means we are now at 88,000 instead of 73. And then we can go to Soulseeker, where we have 800 people that are logged, and then going over to this website, go to Soulseeker again, pull this one more to this side, and you can see here we have 14,000 people. Not 800, like going back here we had 800, you can add 13,000 more to that, and now we are at 101,000, which puts us to just below half of what Classic WoW had. So we have gone from 1/3 to half of Classic WoW 2019. That's pretty insane. One more thing I want to add here at the end is the streaming culture of 2019 versus now, because if you go back to 2019 and you think about Crusade, for example, with Esfand, or think about Asmongold on his stream, Stay Safe, like you name it, like think about your favorite World of Warcraft classic streamer back in 2019, what were they doing? They were speed leveling to level 60, they were farming gold, then they were farming pre-raid bis, and then they were raiding, leveling up another alt to raid log. They were raiding. The main focus of pretty much absolutely everyone back in 2019 was raiding, pushing numbers, raiding. What is the focus now? The focus now is OnlyFans, making content, playing hardcore, and simply, like, once again, making content. They are raiding, sure, but they're mainly there for the content aspect in OnlyFans. There's way less push from the streamers here to actually, like, push that raiding aspect. It's more about just playing hardcore now, and when you play hardcore there will be way less people raiding, so the raid numbers to me being 1/3 of what Classic WoW was back in 2019, that is super positive. I'm just gonna say that. And when it comes to the anniversary servers, I am very positively surprised about how popular they are, even now, like 3.5 to almost 4 months in. It's been a blast. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about the population in the comments down below. Is the population in a good state or a bad state? Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below and subscribe for more classic WoW content. As always, thank you for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon.